very impressive. So today's session is on water quality. And we want to start out, first of all, by asking you if you have any questions or comments. Okay, are you finding it useful to spend time working together in breakout rooms, working on your curriculum and working on some of those statements? Is that useful to you? Okay, so what we're going to suggest is that the various groups go into breakout rooms, and then what Joe and I will do is we will come and visit the breakout rooms so that if you have any questions for either of us, particularly like to the water unit, me and Joe, in terms of the conceptual, more of like a PD, and you can ask both of us those questions. So we'll drop into the various groups. You know, you're welcome to speak in your own languages, but then we come again, use us any way that is beneficial to your work. Do you want to add anything to that?
No, that sounds great. I think we'll do pretty much like we did yesterday. We'll go in the breakout groups. We'll go in, we'll spend around 10 minutes with each group, 10 to 15 minutes. And then about in 45 minutes to 50 minutes, depending on how it goes, come back and we'll have some groups share their plans and we'll have discussions with their plans. So I would suggest we go in the breakout groups, 8 o'clock, at the hour, we'll come back and then we'll share and move forward. So let's go into breakout rooms.
Okay. And Bjorn will make those.
Bjorn will make the breakout rooms.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, shall we go already?
Yes, please go to the breakout rooms.
So did you try to discuss about the 3 questions, right? That's what are the learning goal. What will they do to accomplish this, and how will they know, right?
That's correct. They should continue
Okay.
to fill out the table with respect to their today's PD is on water quality.
Okay. And for people who not list in the country room, you can go to any room if you feel like. Or you can go to other as well. Because I'm not sure today how many you for the other country.
Hi.
Good morning, Kessera.
Hi. Good morning, Anne and Joe.
Good
Good morning.
evening to you.
So I think we should probably go on. How are you, Kessera?
Yeah, great. I just came back from swimming.
Oh, that's good. Get some
Yeah.
exercise.
Try to. I
Yes,
try
good.
to.
Okay, I'm
Okay.
gonna,
So.
we're gonna pop in a breakout room.
Okay.
In the breakout room.
Okay, so which one do you want to go to? I'll go to the other one. Unless you want to go together.
Yeah, I'll go to, I'll go to Cambodia to begin with.
Okay, I'll go to Indonesia.
Sure.
Cambodia, there are a lot of people, same like yesterday. So you are going to Indonesia, right? I go with you, and
Yes, but
I-
how,
I went to, yes,
but do we need to separate because we're gonna. You're
yeah,
gonna let me,
right, you should go to the next room.
okay,
I join you, and
okay, thank you.
You sound like you have a cold.
hmm?
Do you have a cold? You sound like you have a cold.
No, I just came from swimming. Yeah, so no, I'm still, I'm all right. Okay, so yeah, let's.
Yes, ada bergabung ya.
Halo Pak Ari,
Ini
Pak Pandu.
hari ini
Halo.
saya sudah dapat ini apa kurikulum untuk SMP. Jadi ini yang saya kuning-kuningi kira-kira yang berhubungan dengan water quality. Nah, kita yang utama itu harusnya di kelas 8. Ternyata Pak Ari di sekolah Indonesia itu urut-urutan materinya beda-beda di setiap sekolah. Nah, jadi sepertinya memang sudah diterapkan merdeka yang sangat merdeka, sehingga kita bisa sebenarnya masuk dengan unit lesson water quality itu, tapi kita perlu jelaskan bahwa ini menggabungkan beberapa unit gitu, beberapa topik di SMP. Jadi yang mungkin sekali menjadi bahasan utamanya kan yang 15 ini, dia belajar soal ekosistem dan perubahan lingkungan. Jadi nanti menyeru Pak split ya. Nah, jadi di yang bisa di-include itu adalah good afternoon Dr. Kesara. You still muted.
Good evening, Dr. Mani.
Good evening. Yes.
I think Dr. and also joining us in this breakout session.
Oh yeah.
Dr.
Oh, good evening and good morning.
You still on mute and no video and okay, now we can see you now. Yes.
Yeah. So we just I think Anne not here. I think she is not here. So we just mapped the junior high school's science curriculum, and I just know from teachers, secondary school teachers, that actually in Indonesia there are what is it, authority or autonomy for teachers to design the topics. So it means that it's a good news for us because we are able to implement the water quality unit without any disruption. I mean, we able to introduce the water quality system, and then we combine some materials or some topics that actually had been introduced also in Indonesia Junior High School Science. So for example, we think that this part talking about temperature, energy, and also those temperature and changing of the energy, that will be one of the topic related when we talk about the temperature and water quality. Then this one is organization of the system of life. It means that we are talking about the environment of the our stream or river, because we are living for my case, because we are living in Surakarta, and it's famous as clothes, batik clothes, in national clothes of Indonesia. There are many industries here, and our water quality is a bit is polluted. Actually, is always polluted with the waste from the industry of batik, or that's national clothes. So we are thinking to put that issue to be story, or to introduce the student about the experiencing phenomena of the water quality. The other thing that come to my mind is a lot of Indonesian household use the underground water to drinks. So because of the government still have not installed the water system or water how they call it, water plant to all whole households. So that's why as including my house, I still use the underground waters. So there are so many bacteria and so many it's not safety drinks. So that's why we buy every day mineral waters. So I think that's also possible to put it as a phenomena for the students to be to get to get experience why we should consider about water quality. So that's the phenomena that we want to introduce, and after that we will follow the lesson plan that Anne have introduced to us. So if I just go to the plan, it's like this one. So this is the original one from Anne, and we just make some adaptation. For example, we try to meet, or we try to deal with the actual learning topics at junior high schools in Indonesia. But we will follow this flow for doing our teachers PD plan. So the first one, of course, we want to make our teachers, I mean the participants, to know about why they have to study about water quality, why they have to put the water quality as the important issues in our countries. And then we also want to design here, because students in Indonesia is a bit shy. I mean, if we show them the video, or if we show them the phenomena, I do not really believe that they will eager to ask question. So that's why in this part, I think we also want to find another way to encourage the student to ask this question. So because sometimes it's a bit silent and also a bit quiet during the first session, or the first part. So maybe later I will ask Anne whether do you have any suggestion for training the students to be able to ask a question. So for example, here, as I said before, we want to show them about the water polluted by the batik clothes industries, and also we are thinking to show them about our drinks, that so many households in Indonesia still use underground water. I think some of students also that have the same experience, that we have to buy every day mineral waters. So, Anne, do you have any suggestion here about the way or the strategy to train the students to asking the question? I'm thinking that whether we should train first to make a good question, for example, using various of question word, for example, why, what happened, like that,
Mhm.
or any idea? And
Well, so can I first just clarify in terms of the phenomena?
yeah,
So the underground water, is the underground water polluted from all the industry?
not from industry, but actually the especially in the village, the people also build the toilet near the water underground water sources. So it's not by industry, but by human action
Okay. And
from
so,
our toilet. Yeah.
and so when you, are you going to, for the unit, so it sounds like there's two phenomena, there's the underground water and then also polluted waters from industry? Or is it really focusing on the
Yeah,
underground?
that at the river. Mhm.
Okay. So I think the asking
Yeah,
questions,
but mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah, but we just because we in Indonesia we are doing the implementation of water quality in 3 cities. One is my city Surakarta, and other one in Sumatra Island in Palembang, and another one is Central Java Province in Yogyakarta. So I think we have different situation or different
Mhm.
problems of water. So I don't know, maybe other friends from Palembang and also from Yogyakarta will put other phenomena. I think we have to think about what the water problems or water quality problems in each cities that we will apply this unit.
Yeah, so as part of the PD, the professional learning, maybe the participants would have a little time to look for phenomena and then
Mhm.
share. And then before I talk about how to help students do questions, something else to think about, since it's going to be in 3 different cities, there may
Mhm.
be 3 different phenomena, but the issues are going to be similar in terms of if they're going to test the pH or some of these other things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
one thing you might want to think about is if the students can spend time sharing and discussing with the students from other cities.
Oh.
So you
Mm,
can, I don't
okay.
know if there's time for that, but it's very
Yeah.
powerful when students can, go on Zoom and just share a
Mm,
little bit
okay.
and see, right?
That's really
So
good idea. Okay.
just
Yeah.
something to think about.
Okay. Yeah.
In
So
terms
I think
of,
we are able to do that online because internet access I think is also possible in 3 cities. I mean, it's quite good. So I think it's possible to have the students forum or students meeting after they do the uh, learning process.
right, and it could be something at the end, right? So when they're
Mhm.
done, they just share. It could be something done right at the very beginning after they have phenomena, just for them to do a short, like, meet and greet. Here we are, we're students from these schools, or, if you connect different schools and say, here's the phenomena we're going to investigate, because here might be some problems. And then at the end, you know, so
Oh,
it could happen once at the end, but it could also happen at the beginning, or it could
okay.
happen at the beginning, middle, end, right? So of course, time is a consideration.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in terms of students asking questions, this is a challenge everywhere.
Mhm.
But in different cultures, I'm not sure yours, right? Students don't really question, right?
Yeah.
So there's a couple different strategies that I try to use. The first time we start sharing or asking questions, I try to make it very safe. So it's very easy, right? And so
Mhm.
that could just be sharing about what they already know about water, right? And
Mm.
so get them talking a little bit. Um, and so there's no right or wrong answer, right? Just asking, you know, them, because everyone has experience with water.
Mm.
Another strategy I use to get students to share is I use this all the time, where I will put on the board, like, one, if you get your drinking water from underground, two, I get my drinking water from here, or three, right?
Mm.
Some possibilities. So everyone's used to sharing, they share with like not a vote, but we can see what everybody has, or we can see what people are thinking and then get people to explain.
Mhm.
But another thing is using sticky notes and putting students with partners to say,
Okay.
see if you can write out 1 or 2 or 3 questions that you might have. So then they can think on their own, then they can share with someone and they can write a question or 2. And then they can, then after people have just a couple minutes to think about questions, then people can share. So they've already shared with one other person or 2 other people, in a small group,
Mhm.
and they've come up with questions, and then start, start having them really understand that this is what scientists do, right? They have to ask questions before we can explore. And sometimes, the risk taking, especially for middle schoolers who like are so worried about everything around them. So if you start right away with this environment that we're going to ask a lot of questions, we're going to do a lot of sharing, and then have teachers not have any kind of judgment. We're just listening to people's questions, right?
Okay.
And then sometimes we, so there's like something called a driving question board, where you put everybody's questions on the board. And if a student asks a question that you're going to address later, say, write it on a sticky note and we'll put it up there. And then when we get to that, but the questioning part can be a challenge. As a teacher, I phrase almost everything in questions, and then I try to let students know, notice I'm asking a lot of questions. We want you to ask questions. This is the first thing that scientists do. You're curious about something. You want to find out about something. And even if they look up a phenomena, if they look up to, you could have them then take this phenomena, or we're going to look at underground. They could then transfer those into some questions.
Yeah, I agree with Anne. And I think that the strategy that Anne mentioned, for example, think, pair, share, right? That that introduce the easy question and allow students to pair up, and then maybe they can think on their own first, and then maybe they can write and share with their partner. But the opportunity for them to share with their partner is a safe zone, right? That they can that they can start to discuss. Because usually, I think in many classrooms similar to Thailand, teacher always ask question to the whole class, and then only students who are confident will reply and respond, right? I think introducing the think, pair, share, this need to be the strategy that when you do the PD, it should be included, right? Yeah.
Okay.
And
And
sometimes
yeah.
sometimes students ask really big questions,
Yeah.
right? So to take those big questions and say, okay, let's think about what this group asked this question. Can we maybe break this question into smaller questions? Because we can't answer that big question, just to get them trying to think about, questions and how we can, address something small. And if we answer these few questions, that's going to help us answer the bigger question. So
Yeah, Yeah, and then I think student questioning also is led from teacher questioning, right?
Yeah.
That you spark them to think about something, and then they have some questions to follow.
Mhm.
Teacher questions, and I think usually, like I said, the teacher question are usually addressed to the whole class, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you break the questions, the key questions that you allow students to have a chance to discuss among themselves, among their partners, and then teachers then can call out some of the pair and then let
Yeah.
them share after they already discuss. I think this is a way to help to promote their student discussions.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also thinking that probably we can also apply, for example, students will be in pairs, student A and B. A will talk about water and B will listen. And then after that, vice versa. I mean, B will talk and A will ask questions. So in 2 minutes in the first of class, I think it's also possible to do like that.
So are you going to have them do the how do experts determine water quality to look that up?
Yeah. Water quality. You mean the expert determine water quality? We will use the Indonesian. We already find the video about the water quality standard and how to measure some of the elements or some of the measurements. So I think we will show the students that video to learn about how do expert determine water quality.
So you could take that video, depending on how much information is in that video. If it's just like an introduction, you can ask students as they're watching that video, they should write down a couple questions. So if in the video, they're talking about measuring pH and this and this and this, a natural question would be like, what is pH, right? And so so when I have my students go for 10 minutes and look on the internet at some sites on what the experts do, and they write this list, but they don't know, they don't understand yet what's on the list. So all of the things they write down can be turned into questions. And so like through the video, right, they might be able to take that and they'll need some help, right? Because they're not used to doing this, right? And you can say, you can coach them a little bit to say, like, if they say, this is what we do, then the question is, okay, why do they test for this? Why is this important? What does that test mean, right? So, they can teachers can put these prompts on the board, right? And then students can use those ideas and watch the video and then maybe come up with some questions.
Okay. So I just know from the secondary teacher science that the topics of pH is actually had been taught in grade 7. So our water quality will be for grade 9. Our junior high school is grade 7 to 9. So grade 9 means that some of them will have already learned about pH, temperature, and some about the compounds and mixed compounds. So I think for those kind of schools, it should be easy for them to know about the expert determine water quality. But for some schools, some of them put the pH topic at the end of grade 9. So I think that's also we will have problem about the students will ask about what pH is and other elements. Yeah.
Well, and so for students who learned about it in 7th grade, I mean, that doesn't mean they remember it or learn it, but it'll be very nice for them because then they can understand it as a deeper level. So for those teachers, they can help prompt students to say, remember in 7th grade,
Mhm,
right? And what other questions might you have?
mhm,
But or they'll come in, but that they might need reminders,
mhm,
right? Or, and then they also might need to be told that, they have a good foundation
mhm,
from 7th grade, and now in 9th grade, we're going to take it to like a deeper level, right?
mhm.
So they're not thinking, oh, we already learned this, right?
Yeah, yeah. So the next is we just put pH and then the temperature and the solid in one consecutive unit. Then after that, they start to do the initial model. Is it okay? Or do you have any suggestion for doing this?
So if they do 3 pieces of evidence and they learn like those 3, then they have some knowledge to build their model. So I think that works just fine, right?
Okay.
So then because, yeah, I think that works.
Mm,
Because if you if you don't know very much, it's hard to build a model,
yeah,
right? Because
yeah.
the model has no science ideas. So this can work well. So they'll do 3 and then
Mm.
they'll do a model of those 3. Sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And
So we
that
will introduce, yeah, so we will introduce first the static model using the search modeler from the at the initial model here, and later they will learn about oxygen for a living organism. Then they will revise the model.
so when
And
they build their
yeah,
models, are they going to share their models with other people and get critique?
yes, yes, we plan to do that. But first, I think at the initial model, probably they will do paper and pencil modeling.
Mhm.
And I think we will introduce them the search modeler after this one, after making a paper pencil model.
Okay. And the reason that you want them to first do a paper pencil model?
Yeah, because I think for using the search modeler, it takes time to introduce and also to get accustomed with the search modeler system.
Mhm.
So I think it will be better to put the idea on paper, pencil on paper first. Then after that, using the technology
Mhm.
to draw the model.
So that's fine. I would say that my experience has been that for the static model, that students actually pick up on the modeling much faster than adults.
Mhm.
And um, I spend, I think, 15 minutes introducing it with a very simple model about
Mhm.
learning and I think that's in the unit,
Mhm.
and then kids just pick up on it and they find Sage Modeler very engaging.
Mhm.
You can do it paper pencil and the other,
Yeah.
but if you try, you might be surprised how quickly the students pick up on it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
But
And
that's
that the
that's
last one is we are thinking that students have to think about the action to preserve the water quality
so
based
what will
on
you be doing?
the phenomena that they have at the first lesson.
And so what kinds of things will they be doing?
I think here they will first discuss about the action, and I hope that the end of the product should be. I'm thinking of 3 kind of products. First is the poster one. The second one, student also may choose a video or TikTok to explain the action that will preserve the water quality, and later is a simple article that we will be put in a notebook or in school magazine.
Hmm.
So that's the product that a student have to produce after they learn about this lesson. How do you think, ma'am?
And will they be working in groups or individually?
We'll be working in groups.
And they get to pick which one they want to do?
Yeah.
Yes, so all the research shows that when students have choice, that they really learn a lot. So I like that there's 3 choices, and it really doesn't matter which choice they choose. They're going to still address actions. So so I think students are really going to enjoy this. Are they looking at actions for all the different water things? Are they picking one thing, or so what?
Yeah. Yeah, because I think the action should will be different if we give them the problem of batik clothes washed, and also if we give the problem about the underground issues. So I'm not sure here, because I'm also thinking whether to ask the students to think about the purification of the water, but I think it's quite difficult for them to think about the water purification. Or maybe we also can introduce them about the innovation of water purification, and then they will think about, or they will design further what improvement that they can make based on the water purification tools.
So there might be different parts to their article or poster or
Yeah,
video.
yeah, but I think that's will take time more for students and teachers.
And so as you go through the unit, will you be talking about actions on land, or will you wait all of that to the end?
I think we will talk about the action at the end of the lesson.
Okay. So, and then will students be students will be investigating that on their own and then using one of the 3 formats?
Yeah.
Or okay. Yeah, the only so I like I said, I think we're really going to enjoy that. The only maybe danger is if they go through the unit and they in their mind see, oh, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. If they start thinking that there's nothing that can be done, and they start getting scared or but it just depends on how the unit goes. And I think the first year to try it this way, like I said, I think they're going to really enjoy that, especially we say, okay, we see that there are some challenges and issues in terms of our water, but, we want to see what actions can be taken, and then they're going to do this project. And these are the kinds of things I think that help spark students' interest in saying, okay, maybe it's something I'm going to do at the university, or I'm going to, because there are important challenges, but there might be some solutions, and I can help be part of the solution. And hopefully every student and every family can be part of the solution. So,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to hear how that goes next year or something, right?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we will details the training part or training syllabus. Then, well, we think about other options later.
Dr. Bernie, yeah, can you share that when coming to the PD of teachers, do you plan what kind of method that you want to go through this units? Are they going to do like what student would do? Will be exposed to, like, will they doing the like testing the water sample? Yeah, how are you going to deliver the training to introduce the unit to
Yeah.
teachers?
Yeah, so for teachers, we actually want to do as our teacher as a students. So they will do experiment because some of our teachers have not good knowledge and skills to do experiments.
Mm,
So that's why we choose that
mm,
we will grade them as a students.
mm,
So for example, for pH experiment, for doing observation on stream and also doing taking the data, we will do as students because we believe that it will increase or improve the ability of our teachers to handle or to design the experiment.
yeah, that's
Or even, for example, making or invite students to do free inquiry, free experiment. That also, I think, one of the knowledge or PCK skills that we want to introduce to the teachers, that the experiment should be not only come from as a cookbook from teachers, but actually the student also possible to do simple experiment by deciding by themselves the variables, something like that. So we will train our teachers as a students.
yeah.
So are you doing the pH of everyday substances that they'll test in the class? Like, you know, products that people use on land? Are you thinking of doing that?
Yeah. So we will
So
take
I've,
simple paper pH.
Mhm.
We also have the pH meter, but I think schools do not have.
Mhm.
So I think we will use the pH paper.
So I've done the pH of everyday products with teachers, and they love that, because like you said, many of them haven't had that experience themselves. And they get to actually see and experience, see that, and then that also allows for really rich discussion in terms of, if, you know, first them predicting if it's an acid or a base or neutral, and then talking about, you know, a lot of products, soap products are basic, and that plants can actually live if you're incorporating more also the plants and ecosystems, right? That plants can live in those environments. And yeah, so my experience that's a very wonderful lab to do for teachers. Especially if you're doing it, if they're being students, right? So they can see how challenges that could arise for students and questions that students have. And even in these, so in terms of getting students to ask questions, as students are conducting experiments, oftentimes they ask questions, and then having to teachers to really listen to those questions, and instead of just answering them, to say that, you know, this is a good question, let's write it down on a sticky note and put it there, right? Just to get students to ask questions, and then to learn by exploring, not just getting an answer from the teacher. And that's hard for many teachers because they, you know, we love when students ask questions, and we just automatically want to answer them instead of letting them experience things and say, okay, this question was asked. Do you think we could answer this question right now? And if we can answer part of it, what else do we need to know? What other question, right? So the helping teachers facilitate students asking questions is kind of a learned skill, right?
Yeah.
You know, to throw it back to the students. So, okay. And then your assessment, what are you doing in the very end?
Yeah, I just we know that all of our teachers usually use the multiple choice assessment, but I think it's not really improve or really explore the student ability. So I'm thinking to imitate your assessment, introduce them about these kind of assessment. We do not need to make a lot of assessment, but probably one, no, from 2 or 3 questions, but exactly measure the scientific explanation of the students. So, well, because of, I think the burden of the teachers, most of them choose multiple choices to do the assessment, but we will introduce the essay that will measure the ability of the students on doing the explanation, scientific explanation.
Mhm. So that their video or poster or their letter can also kind of serve as some assessment,
Yeah,
right? So
yes,
you could,
yeah.
you could have students even reflect
Mm.
individually,
Mhm.
you know, what are 1 or 2 things that you learned
Mm.
from doing this product,
Mm.
and see if there, you know, what comes out of that, right? Because that can also be informative, right? And you could structure something, you know, with a little more. It could be as simple as, you know, write down, you know, 2 things you learned by doing this, but it could be more formal if they wanted. But just getting them to reflect, because if they
Yeah.
work as a group, depending on how many are in a group, you know, you might have 1 or 2 students do most of it, and another one, you know, not do as much. But then individually, if you have them do a little reflection, that also can serve as a powerful learning tool for students, but also give insight to the teacher.
Yeah. So students in Indonesia actually like to to compete each other. So maybe at the end of the products, we will have the competition of which modeling that better, or we I think we can also do collaboration with all 3 cities and introduce put the forum as a competition for the students to make the good video or good modeling about this issue.
Yes, students do like to compete, for sure. So how long is this whole unit set for?
We I forgot. I think we put it for 7 days.
You're going to do all of this in 7 days?
Yeah, in total for teachers, for PD plan for teachers.
Oh, but what about for the students? How long is this unit?
For the students is about 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay, I thought you were saying for the students 7 days. I was going to say that's too
Oh,
ambitious.
no. 5 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Because because what I say, the I just check the topics that are relevant to water quality, and I think it's possible to do 5 to 6 weeks.
And then how long are your times with the teachers for the professional learning? Is it an hour, 2 hours, or?
Yeah. So our teachers only have I think we will do Saturday, and it's about 4 to 5 hours a day.
Oh, so they'll have 20.
20, for example, 5 hours, so 35 hours in total.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means they can really go in depth and spend time with the various practices and the DCIs and looking at
Yeah.
3-dimensional learning. Okay.
Yeah, so in Indonesia, actually, there is a regulation that if we do workshop to teachers, we have to put it minimum at least 30 hours in total. So I think that meet the regulation of the government to have the training for teachers. Yeah.
That's great. Dr.
Wonderful.
Melanie, do you
Yeah.
also like expect that after each week, will teachers have a chance to implement right away and come back to reflect and maybe continue the second lesson, third lesson with you? I mean, how that will be structured?
Yeah. Yeah. So we just planned that the teachers will have the first learn about the water quality, and after that, I have not detail the timetable, because we also want to follow the timetable of schools unit. So I'm still not sure, but I hope that after learning about water quality, they will soon implement the topics at school, and after that we will introduce the interaction and also health in our hands.
Yeah, because from our experience, the sooner they can implement after they introduce to you, the better, because or else they will forget if you let them leave it too long, right? And then and if you can reinforce or help support them to be confident about
Mhm.
implementing any because these are new for them, right?
Yeah.
If they can come back and then reflect and observe other teachers, peer also can implement, and maybe they can exchange how they overcome any limitations or obstacles.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
this
so
idea
we hope that teachers will implement this way of teaching in all their lessons. Yeah.
So in your PD, so you'll have all the teachers, right? So if you can, as part of the professional learning,
Mhm.
help develop a community of teachers where, like Hesra said, right? So
Yeah.
we're going to work as a group of teachers, and we're going to share with each other, how did the lesson go? And, what were some of the challenges and what did you do, right? So if you
Yeah.
can help develop those little communities, and then also potentially create communities where teachers are going to say, yes, I want my students to share with your students, right? And so that can be part of the professional learning, because it's very, when you go to your building and you're the only teacher doing it, right? Or,
Yeah.
it's nice to have someone else, or, so to set up
Yeah, I
those
think
collaborations.
after have the training, then when they implement at school, I'm thinking to do as a lesson study. We invite the Association of Science Teacher in Surakarta, in my city. So we have a good collaboration with them. But and also, if we, for example, if we do training, actually the participants more than 100 will join. So we have to reduce the number, and then later on, when the implementation at schools, we will invite them. But I also thinking to do what is it? It's not only one. The target is not only for Surakarta, but other regency near our city is also possible to do the same trainings. Yeah, but first we have to know, and also we have to evaluate the PD plan. Our PD plan works well, then we will move to other regions.
Yeah, I think it's important to see how teachers actually implement them in the classroom, and I think those teachers, the lead teachers, who are the pioneer of these learning units, also can become the trainers, right?
Yeah.
We assist you because they have direct experience of using them. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that-
So
that-
based on the new policy of Ministry of Education in Indonesia, we call it guru penggerak. Guru penggerak, it means leading teachers. So ministry have trained all those leading teachers, and then we also think that we will invite leading teachers, because they they have a good understanding and also motivation to do the new way of teaching. So I think probably our first PD target is the guru penggerak or leading teachers that have been trained by the government.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, because if we choose just general teachers, I think we will have a lot of problems.
Yeah, I think selecting teachers whose background, I think because they need to pioneer, right, and then be able to volunteer and with willingness that they want to learn, right, these new
Yeah.
practices. I think if they are lead teachers that already might have roles that their content background, right, are also strong, right, so that in the future, if they are going to help you deliver the trainings, they are confident in helping you, in deliver and expand the training later on.
So are the
So-
students, is this method of teaching and learning going to also be new to students because they're used to being taught a different way?
Pardon?
So from the student perspective, are they used to being taught in a different way? So this will also be very new to them as learners?
Yeah, I think this is also the new way, the new from the students
Yes.
because
so
in our reality of teaching science, most of our class is lecturing. So we have a few experiments, and then we also do not have time to bring students to the real phenomena, even to visit the river near the schools. Sometimes teachers do not want, but probably do not understand that we have to bring the students to see the real phenomena. So I think this is also will be responded well by our students, even our university students, because we plan to do a PD not only for secondary school teachers, but also for the lecturer in our university.
Oh, good. So I think that that teachers may have to assure students and let them know this is going to be different because at least my experience, I introduced this to my school when I went, and the students were used to something else. And for some students, they found this very hard because their learning style was to take the notes from the teacher and memorize and then write it on the test. And that's how they got their A's. They did well.
Yeah.
And so this was new. I wasn't going to tell them everything. We were going to explore. And so they had the shift too.
Yeah.
And that was, most students loved it and they welcomed it, but there were some students that this was uncomfortable for them because they spent the first many years of their schooling in a very different methodology. So just like teachers might need to be aware of that shift is not just for the teacher. It's going to be for some.
Yeah.
students too.
I think that Dr. Moni, if you aware that these are new, right? That means when teachers or novice teachers introduce this unit, you will, as you said, that because students are not used to questioning or discussing, that means the strategies of how to engage students in more in-depth discussions and be able to engage in the driving questions, discussing about it. That means the strategy also have to be embedded in into the experiment, right? Together, the teacher will not just only exposed to the experiment, but they will expose to the questions that whoever the trainer asks have to model the strategies,
Yeah.
right? Example, maybe the think, pair, share, or asking questions, very good questions so that the students are engaged, right? So I believe that all these teaching strategies will be embedded
Yeah.
in the learning activities that you will introduce to teachers, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Some of my students actually doing research on, introducing the new way of teaching, the new project-based learning STEM approach in our class in secondary school. And
Mm.
we check the response of the student. Most of them really like the activity. I mean, if
Mm.
we
Yeah.
introduce this kind of activity, I believe that the student will respond it well.
Mm. Yeah.
And now in Indonesia, we do not have high stakes. So it means that we do not need to prepare for national exams. So before, when the government give mandatory for the high stakes, then most of the lesson is going to prepare to do the exam. Yeah, so that's why the students also prefer to have the explanation from the teachers rather than doing experiments.
Mm.
And the
But
other-
now, yeah.
So the other thing too, the other side of that is that sometimes there are students who they love doing the experiments and they see it as fun and playing and not realize that, yes, right, it's very engaging, but we're doing them because they're important science ideas too. So it's not instead of, right? So, and the teachers too. So some teachers can start thinking, oh, we're not really doing much science, but we are doing a lot of science. We just have to make sure that they're doing the practices and everything as well. But there are definitely important science ideas that students are developing.
Yeah. Sometimes we found that's kind of experience that they have. They did the experiments, but after that they do not know what science concept behind that. So I think it's very important to strengthen about the scientific explanation at the end of the process.
Mm. Because I pop in later, I don't know, did Joe also like try to encourage the group to use the template he introduced in the previous workshops, like the learning performance that teacher are expected to achieve, right? Like the learning goals, right?
Yeah.
He also, yeah. So yeah, you will translate this into the learning goals later. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, Joe hasn't popped in here yet, but in
Yeah.
terms of them working.
So
I
we,
think we're
we
gonna-
actually already have translated the water quality unit lesson
Mm.
Okay,
in Indonesia.
Mm.
so Joe's wondering if we should all go out of the breakout rooms now?
Yeah, I already sent the message.
We saw your message to say you're there if people need you, but not it.
The first one said we'll come back at 20 after.
Oh, 20 after? Okay. So we have a few minutes. So you have used that chart? Murney, am I saying that right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so that you've used that chart? Okay. Well, this looks like you have done a tremendous amount of work and put a lot of thought into this. And you say there's going to be 100 teachers? Did I hear that right?
Actually, if we do the workshop, we have those kind of participants, but I think I will not go to 100 because it's quite difficult to handle.
Yeah.
Because one is a lot of experiments that we have to do. So probably the first one, maybe the first training, maybe only 30 of teachers, leading teachers will join. And after that, we will do, as I said, a lesson study alike. So we invite other teachers to see the learning process.
Well, that's great, especially if you have these 30 lead, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
that sounds feasible.
Yeah,
so
yeah. I hope that the plan will work well.
Yeah, if you could recruit the active and enthusiastic teachers, novice teacher or lecturer, I think they can be the leading
Yeah,
team
yeah.
for
So,
you, right?
so
To
I'm
help.
also thinking to discuss the PD plan here with one of the leading teachers to get know about the real situation. For example, we plan to do the training on Saturday, but I don't know whether the teacher able to do the other weekdays to have the training. So I think after I finish the PD plan, I will discuss with one of the leading teachers to get suggestion how the flow will better run.
Yeah, I think teacher, if you have a lead teacher, they can help in the planning of the PD, right? Because they will, because they are used to the strategy, right? The teaching strategies, and also they can help leading the mapping of the standards and this one. But I think more importantly, they are used to implementing the teaching strategy and practices that engage students, so they can complement to your team in that area. Right? Yeah.
so I'm wondering, looking over yours, so the modeling thing after the first 3 water quality tests you have, and then at the end, so in terms of formative assessment, seeing where students are in their learning, I don't know if you want to think about maybe having smaller things a little earlier, just to make sure students are developing the understanding. Although obviously, like the first year, right, you could try it this way and then see like, okay, maybe we needed to do a little more earlier on in terms of like, we didn't realize students didn't understand this or didn't understand that. You know, it's a process, right? So the first year, you know, you follow through with your plans and then make adjustments.
Yeah.
But it's something maybe to think about.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
head
much.
back to the main.
And Dr. Kesara.
Yes. Nice plans.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Murray, for sharing.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Like, should I close the breakout rooms?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's time. Right? Yeah, I also can.
I gotta go turn on the heat on.
I'll do it.
Yeah, I think
Thanks.
Purin already. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I closed them. They should,
Mm,
in.
I think I missed.
Hi,
Okay.
in.
How are you?
Jimmy.
Yeah, good.
Hello.
Good. How are you? You look very energetic.
It is-
Recording in progress.
Okay, Annie, you wanna get us started? Right, that's what I said, you wanna get us started. So, why don't we, I popped into a couple of breakout rooms and basically stayed in one breakout room with Kessera. But at least the breakout rooms I was in, it sounded like people were making really good progress. And what I could hear from Ann's conversation with her group, it sounded like they were making good progress too. So it seems like we could start off right now by saying, does anybody have any general questions, either for Ann or me? And if not, then I think it'd be a good idea again for a group to maybe summarize what happened in their breakout rooms and allow other people to have comments or raise, if they had questions in the breakout room that the larger group could deal with. So if we could have someone share from one of the breakout rooms.
Any volunteer?
So again, we can start, I think.
Okay, so
Sharing.
Kazakhstan then go first, that'd be great. They, when I was in their group, they really had a nice list of issues related to what water quality that could help contextualize, so it'd be interesting to hear that.
So we think this unit is more important actually than interaction and health in our hands, because the water problems are very important for our country. So this is just some reasons why, for example, we largest country, landlocked country, so we want to start our unit with our learners with this discussion about it, about our problems. For example, Kazakhstan is in the center of Eurasia, so we don't have access to the ocean. Another problems is like our seas or lakes. It's drying. So, for example, we have here some pictures of comparison. For example, this is a sea in 1977. It's a sea in 1986, 99, then in our century. So actually, there is no sea yet. I mean, at the nowadays. But we, of course, our government try to solve this problem. So we have this type of tree which doesn't need so much water. So we use it for stopping motion of sand. And there are other problems like decreasing the volume of glaciers in our mountains, and also dependency on neighbors, our neighbors. I mean, 60 or 70% of our rivers come from our neighbor. So we need to have good relation with our neighbor countries. Oh, this is just for beginning. So maybe first lesson we will start from the problems why water is very important for our country. Then we will go to more to our national curriculum, where we have several lessons or several hours about water, like starting with substances and mixtures. Actually, it's more in 7th grade. So some laboratory works or practice, then going to driving questions. We have several lessons, students work, group work, filling some tables. And if I say briefly, the main idea of this unit, we think it's creating some purification, water purification plant. I'm not sure how was it. Water treatment plant. Yeah, this is like a main idea of this unit. So after some lessons, our learners will be able to model some water treatment plant, what is very important for us. That's it.
So I like how you're trying to adapt the unit to your local environment. I think that's really important. So you're taking the sort of the foundation of some of the ideas and the water quality unit that was given to you, and you're adapting it to local conditions in Kazakhstan, which I think is important to do in order to, you know, to really motivate, as you said, and have people realize the importance of studying water quality and how you can purify water.
Yeah, I think that's a very powerful context. That sets a very nice stage for why students should learn. I'm wondering, because you have water, just in terms of the amount of water, are you doing anything in terms of water pollution? So I see a little bit in water pollution.
Yeah, we have connections with our national curriculum. For example, here, like pure substances and mixtures for ours. Then we go to like where it was. It's the author of this plan not with us. She busy a little bit, so I'm not chemist. But here I know that we have in our national curriculum we have some work like ours for example. Where it was element, mixture, compound, comparison of mixtures, substances, and the compounds, and then we go to water pollution. Here it was.
Will you be
using some?
Will you be adapting any of the lessons from the water unit?
Yeah, we will try to adapt as more as we can to adapt.
And you said this is for 7th grade?
Yeah, mostly for 7th grade, because according to our national curriculum, our students study about water, like these topics, in 7th grade more. But of course, we have less hours in 8th grade, maybe just 1 or 2 hours, but mostly in 7th grade.
And how long is the unit supposed to take?
Do you mean whole unit, this unit?
Yes.
Actually, if we make this unit like additional course, it can be whole year. For example, our educational year is 34 hours, 34 weeks. So if it's only once a week, it's 34 hours.
Okay.
So we will adapt it. Yeah, it depends on how we are planning to do it. If it will be not additional course, if it will be included to our curriculum, we will try to do it. It will be less.
Okay, so so it could be that they have a different science class and then this is an additional class?
Yeah, we think more it's better to make it like additional class.
And do all students take it, or some students?
Who wants? It's who are more interested, mostly from 7th and 8th grade. Yeah, his next lesson, 3rd lesson, is purification of contained table salt. It's from our national curriculum, so we have this topic, purification. So then we go to discuss about purification, and then finally go to water treatment plant. Here is a lesson the meaning of lesson, it's not only for 45 or 50 minutes. I mean, it's not lesson like in 1 hour. It's just, it can be more. For example, 1 month, this episode. This is why we use the word episode.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if any others in the different teams have comments or questions for the Kazakhstan team.
Darren, may I ask that what will you do different from the existing units that you have for this one? What is the what do you plan to do differently from the past with this unit?
If we comparing with past,
Yeah, with the past, yeah. What are you going to add to?
actually, actually, we have never had, as I know, we have never had
This unit before?
this unit, of course. Maybe some schools have additional course about water, and I'm not sure what. But as for me, where I work, schools where I work, we have never had a special unit for water. Of course, I work in some project with my students. I can show, like, we last year let me.
Yeah.
Last year, I participated in some competition about water. It's an international competition. Where it was?
Will you add the CER or modeling to this unit?
Yeah, we added. Modeling is modeling of water treatment plant, and CER is in. Yeah, CER will be included here, mostly here. But when we created this one, we created it two weeks ago. We created when we had some weekends. Do you remember, before 30th of January? So when we created,
very hard.
Yeah, when we created it without CER but with modeling. So and now we are thinking about how to add CER, but we will again scan unit water quality and try to add CER.
Yeah. If you can think about that, because I try to think about when the research team, right, go in and if they are going to look for the explanation, if they are going to look for the modeling, right, in any unit that you implement, right? So if you can make sure, right, that the teachers are equipped with the units and the strategies that can help students make a better explanation using this unit. When the research study team go in, they have to look for this result, right? The artifacts or whatever, the worksheet or the student work to show that how well they make explanation. Because in this project, yeah, we try to highlight with the scientific explanation and engineering practices, right? So yeah, just yeah, I think that it's great that you could think about relevant context in your country and try to enhance the existing unit or curricular units that you already got. Yeah.
We think for better understanding, we have planned to have some lessons about CER before units, before these units, to explain what is CER for our learners, and then go to units.
Yeah.
and
And then
continuing to explain with units.
and then the student will be expected to like to take all the evidence, right?
Yeah.
And then to explanation using that that kind of model, right? Modeling and the CR, right?
These three all units can be used as an example for how to use CR.
Yeah, that sounds great.
That's it.
Are there any other comments or questions for the Kazakhstan group? If not, I would suggest we have one other group present their ideas.
Yes, I will do for Indonesian group.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. So okay, so we just designed the not too details about the PD plan for water quality. So in Indonesia, the junior high school curriculums that related to water quality we found in some grade, but at 9th grade, I mean the last grade of junior high school, we will implement this unit, water quality unit. So the things is in Indonesia, the school have autonomy to create or to plan the sequencing of the learning topics or learning unit. So that's why probably we will have the school that, for example, some school do not teach pH in 8th grade, but in the 9th grade. But some school already teach the pH in the 7th grade or 8th grade. So that's the reality of our school, the autonomy of school to design the the lesson unit. So for that case, we plan to do the adaptation for the water quality unit, and we hope that the PD plan will be attended by leading teachers. Leading teachers is actually is kind of the new policy in Indonesia that the Ministry of Education have trained some of teachers to to welcome the new teaching method. I mean, they compared to general teachers, that's leading teachers have ability to adapt if we introduce the new things for them. So we work with the Science Teacher Association of Surakarta, about 30 of teachers from Surakarta. For your information, that in Indonesia, we will apply these water quality units or STEM ED units in 3 cities. One in my city, Surakarta, other in Yogyakarta, and other in Sumatra Island in Palembang. So Anne suggests us to have the forum for students after they learn about the water quality to share what their idea. And I'm also thinking that probably we also able to do competition among students after they learn about the water quality. So we adapt the unit lesson from Anne, but we make some modification. For example, for the first, we have general training content also. We will introduce about project-based learning, STEM, and also the issue of scientific explanation to teachers. But this one is going directly to the unit lesson of water quality. So our phenomena that we will introduce in Surakarta city, because we have problems on the river pollution because of the water, the waste from batik clothes industry. And also we have a problem about safety drinks issues, because some households in Indonesia using underground water for daily life use. So, for example, for drinks, we have to buy every day the mineral water because of our underground water is not safety for drink. So we will introduce the students about this phenomena, and we train the teachers as students. It means because of some of our teachers do not have a good knowledge on doing the experiments. So that's why we plan to do this water unit lesson that treat our teacher as students. So they will do all the experiments. And we think about the problems here. When we show the students the phenomena, probably our students will keep silence and do not ask questions. So we just thinking about the strategy to encourage students to ask questions here. Then we follow the step that the next unit is introducing about water quality, how the expert determine water quality. And we will show the video about expert measure the water quality in Indonesia. Then we go to the doing experiment on acid pH. Then the influence of temperature and also the dissolved solids in the stream. After that, we ask the students or the participants to do paper pencil modeling first and then go to Sage Modeler. Why we choose the paper pencil first? Because introducing Sage Modeler, we think that it needs time. It's better to show first the idea by, for example, using sticky notes or other things, and later they go to Sage Modeler. After that, we go to the oxygen, the meaning of oxygen on the water quality, and also observe the plants through this exercise, through this lesson. We hope that they know also the to classify the plants surrounding the river or surrounding the water resources. And then they will revise the model and final model. And the last part is we have the discussion about the action to preserve or to conserve the water quality. And we will ask the student to make these three kind of options. So student will choose which kind of product that they want to do or want to produce, and they will work in group to make poster or short video or article that will be posted in the notice board or magazine of the school. And for the assessment, we will follow the type of assessment that Anne introduced us, because in Indonesia, some of the teachers use the multiple choices type of essays, but we think that the multiple choices will not measure exactly what the ability of the students. So those the progress of our water quality plan, especially that we will implement in Surakarta. Thank you.
Any questions for this group or any comments for them?
Can I ask, Murni?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes.
Murni, you said using Sage Modeler, it needs some time. Do you plan to use Sage Modeler in other units, like Shells in Our Hands or Interaction?
Yeah, we will do, but this is the first unit that we will introduce in our PD plan. So that's why I'm thinking that our teachers need our teachers not really where is it, using the technology is not useful here, so probably it will have takes times to do it, but well, we will discuss the PD plan that we made to leading teachers to ask about the idea if they thinking that using such modeler is better to rather than paper pencil modeling. I think is also possible, but our participants probably have other problem with internet connection and other things, so I think introducing them about modeling by doing paper pencil will be better.
Okay. We also plan to start with this unit, water quality.
So if they're going to do paper pencil, will they also, so part of the Sage modeler is that they can write in why they're making the choices in terms of how things, the relationships between them. Will they be doing that on the paper pencil one as well?
Yeah. So in paper pencil, I think they will well, we think also about the creativity of the participants to do, for example, to think about the relations, how they make symbols to show the relation between among the variables to the water quality issue. And I think after they do the paper pencil modeling, it will be easy to go to the Sage modeler.
So I like the detail that you guys are working on. I think it's a really nice model. I do wonder if you could include goals. I don't see goals anywhere. And I'm always driven by learning goals. If I'm creating student materials or if I'm creating professional learning, I'm always driven by learning goals. And so I would really encourage you, I guess I would say this to the Kazakhstan group too, to include what your learning goals are for the professional learning. So I like what I see you're doing. I think you're making wonderful progress. And you're trying to adapt it to your local context. I think that's really important, but I would like to see some learning goals. I think it's always, at least for me, in planning any form of instruction, thinking first about what is it that I want the people in front of me to learn is really really important. It's sort of like a guiding principle that I have in almost anything I do. What is my goal? What am I trying to accomplish? And because if it's very critical to be able to specify that. What is it that I want? What is it that I want to see happen? In this case, it's related to professional learning. And then how am I going to accomplish that? Which I think you've done a nice job of outlining what you're going to do. And then how are you going to know you accomplished it, right? So I think to me, those are always the three buckets, the three ideas, the three major ideas that I do whenever I'm planning, if it's professional learning, if it's something to do with student learning, even in my own professional work, my life, I say, what's my goal? How am I going to accomplish it? And how do I know if I accomplished it, right? So those are the three questions I always tend to ask myself. So if I like what I saw you did, but if you could add goals to me, that would be really helpful. So I know the other group that I went into, the Cambodia group. Andy, you have a comment?
No.
Okay. I went into the Cambodia group and they were just getting started on their water quality work. So Sam, I don't know if you have anything you want to report. That'd be great to listen to.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe, for asking me my teams for present my work. As you know, for Cambodia team, just getting started for the plannings as well as especially for the brainstorming for our curriculums to integrate with lower secondary schools. In the context of Cambodia, we have really good local areas which have a great lake and Mekong rivers, but As mostly Cambodian people challenges with the water qualities, especially during the dry season, and we lack out water for water supply for household usings, something like this. But on the other hand, in our textbook, we don't really cover about the challenges of the waters and the water qualities as well as the water management in the lower secondary schools. We just have very very few lessons talk about waters in generals. The general I mean is waters in the waters, and then we specific the water stream, waters bodies in Cambodia, but we don't go in deep with the water qualities and the water treatment as well as water management in lower secondary schools. So the hours for the lesson that talk about the waters is really limited. So we are thinking of to integrate hours lessons, especially lessons from the programs from NTAS to integrate, and as well as the activity that let the student think in deeper on the problems and situation of the waters in context of Cambodia. So we are thinking of the putting us the lessons only 8 lesson, because normally now we has only 4 hours for waters, fresh waters. So we are going to expand into 8 hours for the water, the lesson that we're going to talk about the water. So for example, number 1, we're going to integrate the general ideas that focus on the water sources in our context, and let them to describe the characteristics of the water sources. And then lesson number 2, we are going to talk about the factors that influence our water qualities. So we are going to integrate CEO into the activities that the students going to describe the phenomena of the water, or especially the influences of the water's qualities. And the lesson 3, we are going to talk deeper on the water qualities and in the local areas by collecting, as we discussed with Joe's previously, because we can bring students to the rivers because we are in the city. So we are going to have the short videos and which witness collecting water specimen for doing in the class, and let the student observe and explain by using scientific techniques or method. And lesson 4 is based on the result that we got from the lesson 3, and we are going to think about the factor effect on the water's quality. So the students might think beyond of the lesson to the source of the causes and effects that the water that they can see in their local areas. And lesson number 5, we are going to let the student see the water quality changes by let student to draw or to prototype based on that we want to bring them to the models that we want to integrate in the lesson 6. We might have 6 models for the schools or class that has computers. And if the class doesn't have the computers, we're going to have paper pencils modeling instead of the 6 models. And the activities, and ask them to explain the phenomena behind the water qualities and cause or effect to the life in the waters, as well as the humans living around the stream or the waters. And lesson 7, we are going to revise the models based on the lesson 6. So this one is going to be times for a student to explain to their class or the teachers what the modelings and with along with the factors influence on the water qualities. This is what we are brainstorming today, and hopefully we are going to have some comment and ideas to develop further, and finally we can have the consequence of the lessons which can affect on the student learnings in my schools. Thank you.
So can I ask if I'm
Yeah,
looking
please.
at this lesson 3, they're going to be collecting water and in lesson 3 and 4, then doing some testing in the classroom. Is it
Yeah.
going to be pH testing, or what kind of tests will they do?
We are going to test on pH testings that is available in our school. So it's mostly we talk about the testings and the that we can observe the waters, the clearance of the waters or something on the waters like that.
And so it sounds like, if I understood correctly, you have about 8 hours set
Yeah.
in class.
Yes.
The danger of only doing one water quality test is that it gives you a limited information. So in my school, the pH of our stream has always been neutral. It's been very positive. And so based on that, students would conclude that the water quality of our stream is very healthy. But then when we do other water quality tests, they decide that they have evidence that it's not as healthy as they thought. So just like in everything, just having you'll do clarity as well, so that might help, but I don't know what the water quality of yours is, but it may not, it may or may not give an accurate picture of the actual health of the water, just based on one.
Yes.
And so the models that they create, will they mostly be on pH, or will they be on other things they research? What I'm wondering, if you have this limited amount of time, I wonder if some students will test for pH.
Yes.
But others test for some. You could maybe have a couple different tests on the same day.
Yes.
And then students share out that data so that they would have a larger data set in order to interpret, in order to model, and that give them a broader picture of the water quality.
Yes.
It's something.
Okay, we are going to discuss more detail about the activities, and the times will be available, and some material along with the activity tools. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just wrote a note on chat, and it seems like all of you are starting to make good progress.
Definitely.
So I'm very pleased with that. I know Ann just said she also is. So I'm really pleased to see with the progress. I would like you to focus on your specifying your learning goals. And also I want you to realize that it is going to take time for people to learn both claim evidence and reasoning. That does take a bit of practice, right? It's not in our general teaching practices where kids are going to write out a claim and then specify their evidence and provide their reasoning. So it takes time to help them develop that way of thinking, that scientific way of thinking. The same thing is true for modeling. You can't just expect, because you have one day for modeling, if it's just 1 hour, it's going to take a bit of time to help them understand what a model is. And then they have to learn how to use SAGE. And so I'm not exactly sure if 1 hour or a small amount of time can actually get at all that. So you're going to need to think about how you're going to get time both to develop kids' understanding and the teachers' understanding about claim evidence reading, claim evidence and reasoning, and the modeling process. Now, if you do it in the other units, and I think that's great, then all you have to do is review it here. But just realize that somewhere along the line, you are going to have to help them understand what is a scientific explanation. Why is that important? What counts for evidence? What counts for reasoning? And in designing models, you're going to have to stop and say, what are the factors and what are the relationships between the factors and what's going to produce the outcome. So it does take a little bit of time to work on developing that kind of thinking. Unfortunately, I'm now late for another meeting, so Ann will wrap us up.
Well,
So I'm gonna have to take us off. So I will see everybody on Monday morning, I think, or your Monday night. We have a meeting on your Monday night, which I believe is Health in Our Hands. So I will see you then, and we'll continue along that our path of developing strong learning, lesson plans for our professional learning so that kids can experience some good instruction in their classrooms. So everybody have a good evening and have a good weekend. And I will see you on your Monday evening. I really need to get to another meeting right now.
yeah,
So thank you, everybody.
yeah. So I think Joe did a good job wrapping it up. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah. Good night and good morning to Joe and Ann.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Ya.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.